as it serves to reduce aggressively the digital divide. We are ensuring that our citizens enjoy robust, high-quality, affordable internet access and have devices for connecting to the internet for work or play. We are providing our citizens with the skills and with access to the required support to use the technology online competently, safely, responsibly, and productively. We will continue to expand our suite of technological products in creating a digital economy. TT Wi-Fi, our Wi-Fi, will continue to provide free broadband access in highly populated and frequented areas such as transport hubs, hospital waiting rooms, libraries, and schools. At present, the rollout of TT Wi-Fi is live at 10 transport hubs and 16 libraries. The initiative will continue in 2022, driven by TSTT, Telecommunication Services. This company, in collaboration with internet service providers, will roll out additional TT Wi-Fi sites at all transport hubs, all libraries, all schools, and all health facilities. And free Wi-Fi is facilitating our education into a smart society, and in particular, our requirements for personal security. We will partner with local developers to create apps to be provided free of charge to our citizens. This facility, in tandem with the free Wi-Fi service, will strengthen the security environment, allowing our citizens to go about their business safely and securely. ICT access centers are already benefiting our citizens in digitally underserved communities. These centers are providing our citizens with computers, internet access, training, printing, and scanning services, and we plan to expand this facility. In 2022, the number of ICT access centers is being increased from 6 to 50. We are introducing value-added services, in particular increased training. We will provide business incubation support services, and we will ensure that community participation in the digital trust is fostered and promoted. Digital skills training will be added to the in-person information technology training provided at the ICT access centers. 10,000 persons will be provided with digital skills training, followed by another 2,000 under an arrangement with the Microsoft Philanthropic Group. Broadband service will be provided in underserved communities. We plan to collect at least 25 underserved communities in 2022 and will continue the program until Trinidad and Tobago is fully connected digitally. We are transforming the telecommunications sector to enhance its contribution to GDP from the present level of 4% to 8%. That's our target. We are putting in place the foundation on which this country will become a producer and supplier of digital goods and services. We are harnessing our local talent to produce, innovate, deliver, and eventually export digital goods and services. An enabling legislative framework represents an important driving force to achieve meaningful and universal connectivity. The enabling legislative framework will be anchored on a raft of existing legislation. The e-legislative agenda will be comprehensive, including amending existing legislation and introducing new legislation where needed. In 2021, we updated the Data Protection and Electronic Transactions Act. In 2022, we will finalize the Cybercrime Bill and amend the Telecommunications Act. We will introduce legislation to enable, most importantly, Madam Speaker, a national digital identity with all of the necessary assurances and coverage to ensure the security and privacy of information exchange. Another measure, the Digital Developer Hub, is a second measure for collaborating with the private sector, academia, and small local developers, including individuals, to establish a platform for the development of software and applications which meet global standards. Software and apps will be developed by our local talent for use in Trinidad and Tobago, and this will allow developers to create digital solutions which would include an online local marketplace. Over the last 18 months of the COVID-19 pandemic, local artisans and cottage industries were adversely affected, losing several potential avenues to showcase, display, and sell their craft and talent. we are proposing to develop an online store to generate income for local craft persons who would advertise and sell their work. We will also provide this group of artists with the knowledge to be effective entrepreneurs and business people. We will support them through training. Digital wallets will be introduced to speed up transactions, improve security, and identify fintech opportunities. And technical skills training represents the third measure in building the backbone of our digital economy. We will focus on technical skills development. We cannot afford to use valuable foreign exchange to pay for cybersecurity, blockchain, 5G, and other proprietary software. We are acquiring the appropriate knowledge from Estonia, and this is being done through a memorandum of understanding with that country, the acknowledged world leader in digital transformation and technical skills training opportunities. We're ensuring that training and development are tied into projects which are delivering solutions for the government or the business community. Madam Speaker, we set up in record time the TT Travel Pass solution and the TT Vaccine Appointment System. We are aiming to have an e-government service where citizens or business entities can have their interactions with the state fully automated and where their privacy will be assured. We will establish for each citizen a digital ID account which any individual will be able to use subsequently without having to repeat the provision of biodata, the once-only principle. Portals will allow the current TT Connect to become a more modern platform and interface. Citizens can expect an improved experience. E-government services will be provided through this one portal. The National Digital ID and Interoperability ecosystem will be facilitated by a unique digital ID which identifies the user as we move ahead in our digital nation trust. In 2022, we will introduce a pilot project. The National Digital ID will improve the management and issuance of social service grants and access to and provision of health services. This will kickstart the Collect Once principle, which aims to shorten the time taken to deliver services online and in person by reducing time spent verifying identity. It will also herald the start of the process of having a consolidated repository of information that is clean and up-to-date and used to improve the citizen experience with government services. However, Madam Speaker, we cannot pursue digital transformation on its own. We must secure the participation and cooperation of our citizens. We will create an enrollment process that will allow the state to verify the identity of all its citizens. While it might be perceived as being behind, as we might be perceived as being behind in the digital ID race, we wish to get right this digital transformation process. Our objective is for Trinidad and Tobago to become a model for the region in the building of digital infrastructure and capacity. Now to construction. We are focusing on the construction sector as a critical pillar to anchor our drive for sustaining growth and accelerated national development. The sector has already achieved a degree of importance in the national economy, contributing 5.5% to gross domestic product and employing 15 to 18% of our labor force. Our portfolio of infrastructure projects has entered the shovel-worthy status as they have adhered to the desired planning and design principles. They cover significant areas in our public developmental agenda. New and refurbished hospitals, a network of roads and highways, as well as bridges and walkovers, the building, repair and maintenance of houses, industrial parks, and commercial and industrial buildings, schools, airports, and sewer systems. These projects are catalyzing and stimulating the economy. And notwithstanding the challenging environment created by COVID-19, including restrictive health measures, we have been able to complete several major construction projects. For example, the Curepe interchange was opened in April 2020. The Moruga Agro-Processing and Light Industrial Park was commissioned in July 2020. The Arima Hospital was commissioned in June 2020, and the Point 14 Hospital in July 2020. Other projects are at various stages of completion. The highway network is improving land transportation, and its framework is based on the requirements advanced in the National Transportation Framework 2017 to 2020. The road network reflects key features of a developed country, which include the quality of infrastructure and transportation services. We recognize that high-quality infrastructure will unlock economic potential and will ensure that growth and opportunities are distributed throughout the country, with employment creating businesses in a cycle of investment attention. We have adopted a systematic and comprehensive approach to building strong infrastructure and transportation systems that are resilient and high quality. The Development Bank of Latin America is providing US $175 million for a sector-wide approach program for modernized transportation infrastructure, which is consistent with the objectives of the pipeline projects the bank is already financing. The Churchill-Roosevelt Highway extension to Manzanilla represents 5 kilometers of highway connecting the communities of Wallerfield, Camuto, and Guayco. To diminish traffic congestion, the roadway will also provide an alternative route for entry and exit to the town of Sangre Grande. 100,000 citizens will benefit from the ease of connectivity by this new highway, which is being built for $1.7 billion. The first phase of this highway should be completed in 2022, allowing better access to Sangre Grande. The Valencia to Toco Road will increase opportunities for business and economic investments for the eastern region, in particular the communities between Matlot and Sangre Grande. Detailed designs and statutory approvals are completed, and construction is expected to commence in 2022. The Solomon Hochoy Highway extension to Point Fortin will create greater ease of access to the Dunlop roundabout in Point Fortin out of Golconda, Debe, Pinal, Siparia, and Faizabad. The completed highway will make a crucial contribution to the development and growth of the communities connected by the highway, including Debe, Mondesir, Faizabad, Labre, and Point Fortin. In 2022, the priority link is scheduled to be completed, Dumfries to Dunlop and Faizabad to Mondesir. A vehicular and pedestrian bridge overpass is being constructed in Diego Martin, with completion scheduled for 2022. The connectivity for the commuters from the Diego Martin Valley heading into the Western Peninsula will be significantly improved as current times are reduced and road safety and network efficiency upgraded. The Macoya interchange will continue the process of eliminating traffic lights in the east-west corridor along the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway, while providing safe crossing facilities for pedestrians in the Macoya area. Construction of the Macoya interchange is expected to commence in 2022. Madam Speaker, we have been improving our air transportation capability by upgrading our airports, in particular at Piarco International, where security is being enhanced, and at the A&R Robinson International Airport, where interim works are upgrading the existing terminal for improved services, with new construction establishing a new terminal. The new terminal at the A&R Robinson International Airport is in the final stages of detailed design and land acquisition, and construction of the new terminal building is scheduled to commence in 2022. Upon completion of construction, Tobago will benefit from an international airport with sufficient capacity and level of service to expand the hotel room stock and become a key catalyst in revitalizing and expanding its tourism industry. However, in the interim, provisional facilities are being upgraded in the current terminal area, which would allow the current average daily passenger flow of 8,000 to benefit from the existing service level of domestic and cargo operations. Sea transportation is being improved with the development of port infrastructure in both Trinidad and Tobago. The Toco port will facilitate economic development in Toco and surrounding communities between Matlot and Grande, and importantly improve the connectivity between Trinidad and Tobago. Construction will commence after the satisfactory completion of the environmental impact assessment, which is in progress. 2 ultra-modern new fast ferries have been added to the existing sea transport capacity between Trinidad and Tobago. The APT James commenced service in February 2021 and the Bucko Reef in June 2021, bringing a high level of service reliability, capacity, and comfort for passengers on the sea bridge. The integrated fishing port and facilities at Grand Chemin, Moruga will bring improved facilities for the fishing communities of Moruga and surrounding communities of Grand Chemin, La Rufin, and Marac. The proposed Tobago Marina in southwest Tobago, which is to be funded in the first instance by government, is scheduled for commencement of construction in 2023, once all statutory approvals are obtained, and will add a vital component to the tourism infrastructure in Tobago. We are closely monitoring the adverse effects of climate change and rising sea levels on our shorelines. Stabilization works are progressing at the Captiville shoreline, where 950 meters of shoreline, almost a kilometer, are being protected from coastal erosion. This project is scheduled for completion in June 2022. Similar type works are taking place in Matlot, where 425 meters of coastline along the Paria Main Road are being protected. We are attaching a great deal of importance to this project, given that this roadway is the only access to Matlot. The completion date is imminent. In Mayaro Guayagari, 550 meters of coastline are being protected with a scheduled completion date of October 2022. Madam Speaker, the upcoming demand for funding requirements for what I have just outlined will far exceed our ability to meet the required demand, especially due to the impact of COVID-19 additional expenditure. To that end, we are considering alternative sources of financing, in particular public-private partnerships. We've already agreed to introduce the private sector into the state-owned National Marine and Maintenance Services Company to establish a state-of-the-art ship repair and maintenance industry. We are also seeking experienced international shipping businesses, cargo handling and cruise shipping to enter into a public-private partnership with the Port Authority of Trinidad and Tobago to improve port handling and cruise operations. To date, a request for information has been issued, and we expect that a request for proposals will be issued shortly. And we have in train, Madam Speaker, an additional inventory of substantial projects which will accelerate momentum across the construction industry throughout the next 2-year period, including the San Fernando Waterfront Redevelopment Program, the Port of Spain Redevelopment Program, the Skinner Park Redevelopment Program, and the Urban Renewal and Revitalization Program. We envisage significant opportunities emanating from this dynamic construction program. To note agriculture. Madam Speaker, our roadmap to recovery accorded food security the highest priority to address the COVID-19 pandemic-induced challenges anticipated in respect of food security. Agriculture is the basic source of food supply, and our food security program will raise consistently the contribution of agriculture to economic development. Our proposed solutions are not only game-changing, but pragmatic. They are well aligned to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We designed this program of action from broad-based consultations with non-governmental organizations, the private sector, academia, civil society, and other stakeholders. We have made agriculture in all its facets a tax-free industry, and we are building on this base. The confidence-inducing effects of which will facilitate investment in the sector by our investors and farmers. Farmers will now be able to invest their time, energy, and finances in the development of the sector, thereby making the sector much more attractive, especially for young entrepreneurs. Madam Speaker, we had established a substantial agriculture stimulus fund in the Ministry of Finance for the use by the Ministry of Agriculture to fund the expansion, production, and marketing of selected high-demand commodities with short production cycles such as vegetables, legumes, roots, and tubers, grains, fruits, small livestock. The funding is intended to support the securing of adequate quality seeds, the use of an alternative feedstock, and the regularization of land issues to accelerate land tenure and access to idle state lands. This fund is in addition to the normal budgetary allocation to the agriculture sector, and it represents a substantial increase over a normal year's allocation for agriculture. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Agriculture has advised that over the last year, it has worked assiduously to design and plan a series of agriculture projects and programs to access the stimulus package, and that several of these projects are ready to commence. As a result, I intend to allocate $300 million in the first instance to the Agriculture Stimulus Package Fund in the Ministry of Finance for fiscal 2022. Madam Speaker, food and nutrition security is progressing through several well-conceptualized initiatives. Local production of nutritious food to reduce dependence on imported food and inputs is being increasingly supported. A more technologically advanced agriculture system is being built, including digital transformation, improving productivity, expanding cold storage facilities to reduce losses, and in the process, increasing the availability of the domestic food supply. The linkages along the food value and distribution chains are being strengthened to make more locally produced food available within the country, in particular in the school feeding program as well as the social welfare network. The national marketing infrastructure is being supported to facilitate linking farmers to markets. Food boxes are being packaged and distributed to vulnerable families, complemented with social support programs where families continue to receive food cards to meet their food and nutrition security needs. An access road repair program to commence in 2022 will cover 80 kilometers and provide relief for over 400 farmers at a cost of $75 million. The areas include Matalot, Toko, Manzanilla, Sangre Grande, Talparo, Wallerfield, Maracas, St. Joseph, Tunapuna, Orange Grove, Braco Seco, Paria, Blanchisez, Lopino, and Paramin. In the productive Plum Mitan area, $11 million is committed for the replacement in 2022 of the decades-old pumps as well as access road repair. These initiatives are now being fully implemented. All 41 members of Parliament are deeply aware that the packaging and distribution of food boxes to vulnerable families had a significant impact in their constituencies in the period May to September 21. By the end of September 2021, we delivered food packages for 136,000 families. 136,000 families through the 41 members of Parliament and 49 families through the 138 local government councillors and 12 Tobago assemblymen combined. That is 185,000 food packages in 5 months. Our initial target for the 5-month period was 125,000 at a cost of $62 million. Apart from the members of Parliament, councillors and assemblymen, we also distributed extra produce packages to non-governmental organizations, including Pan Trinbago, National Carnival Bands Association, Coterie of Social Workers, Blind Welfare Association, Trinidad and Tobago Yacht Club, Police Youth Clubs, Trinbago Unified Calypsonians Organization, the Students Guild of the University of the West Indies, faith-based organizations, and many individual families who reached out for help. Madam Speaker, I can also say with some confidence that because of the enabling environment the government has built, there is at this time more than $200 million in private sector investment being made in livestock production, poultry production, including duck farming and processing, rabbit rearing and processing, hatcheries, greenhouses, processing, seafood processing, and agro-processing for export markets. In particular, Aripo Livestock Limited has already invested $22 million in the public-private partnership livestock project in Aripo, and in 2020 will invest another $20 million. The Nutrimix Group has completed the modern hatchery facility in Couva at a cost of over $60 million. Central Farms, which produces 1 million pounds of duck meat annually, is expanding and is expected to make a further $10 million investment in 2022 to expand capacity. Namdevco has settled on a partner for the incomplete packing house in Couva. That partner will make $1 million investment in the next year. Novo has just launched its $60 million agro-processing facility in Couva, and in the next 18 months will make an additional $5 to $10 million investment in the local agriculture sector. PriceSmart's investment in a modern produce distribution center in the new Phoenix Park industrial estate will be several $1 million of investment in the next year. The rice parboiling plant, which is a $15 million investment by Trinidad Parboil Limited in Couva, will commence construction in early 2022. Sprout Farms will begin construction of its $6 million modern greenhouse facility in St. Joseph before the end of 2021. And at least one investor is currently sourcing equipment to outfit one of the units at the Maruga Agro and Light Industrial Park, and that investment will be $3 million to $5 million over the next 18 months. Madam Speaker, there has been a lot of discussion on the recent evolution of food prices. We are well aware that food prices have increased significantly amid the global shortages and supply chain disruptions, including increased cost of transport and freight. But in most cases, we expect that food prices will subside to pre-pandemic ranges in 2022 once the transitory disturbances work their way through food prices. The Minister of Agriculture will expand on these and other initiatives during his contribution to the debate. I turn now to manufacturing. Madam Speaker, the manufacturing sector has always been important and dynamic in our domestic economy. In 2020, it has been contributing 19.3% of gross domestic product and has been employing over 52,000 people. The sector has been a catalyst for achieving economic transformation, expansion, and diversification as we chart a new and innovation-driven future in the post-pandemic. We will continue our facilitative role in the expansion of businesses, and we will collaborate with the sector for it to transition into one which is globally competitive, innovative, and productive. We are supporting the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association in its drive to double by 2025 non-energy manufacturing exports. The sector is already benefiting from the Forex facility at the Exim Bank. In 2020, 97 businesses have utilized US $100 million. And in the period January to August 2021, 107 manufacturing businesses have already utilized US $81.2 million, all geared for boosting exports. We are introducing several transformative measures which will build a strong foundation for future development and expansion. We are focusing on improving the relative ease of doing business. We were assured that we would improve our current position of 105 out of 150 in the World Bank Doing Business Report 2020. However, there's a caveat. About 3 weeks ago, the World Bank cancelled the Doing Business series on country business climates, citing internal audits, while an independent probe found that several senior World Bank staff pressured staff to alter data in favor of several countries. The analysis and conclusions in these ease of business documents have now been tainted. In keeping with our digitization program, we have strengthened the single electronic window for trade and business facilitation. And we have improved the investment framework for approval and facilitation of investment in the non-energy sector. We are implementing an electronic funds transfer framework across the public sector to allow payments to be made electronically to the government. We are expanding the voluntary compliance program under the Customs and Excise Division so that procedures associated with shipments of bona fide importers can be fast-tracked. We're improving access to finance and foreign exchange by ensuring the timely release of VAT refunds and completing the recapitalization of the Exim Bank to meet the peculiar needs of the manufacturing sector. We have put in place special windows within 4 commercial banks to offer facilities to small and medium enterprises. We are taking steps to list small and medium enterprises on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, for which there is a junior stock exchange facility, and to provide eligible enterprises with appropriate tax incentives. We are setting up a new catalytic fund at the Exim Bank, where export-oriented companies in both the manufacturing and service sectors will be able to access financial support to generate increased exports and earn more foreign exchange. We're improving production capability and promoting new and niche products, and we are doing so by accelerating the implementation of the National Quality Policy, which will ensure adherence to international standards and technical regulations. This policy program would guarantee reliable measurements and set up a system that will allow accreditation of testing and certification facilities. We will enhance human resource capacity in the manufacturing sector through a national vocational training strategy, which would create skilled employees for the manufacturing sector. We will achieve this objective by working with relevant vocational qualification standards, as well as through a national apprenticeship program. Let me repeat that. We will achieve this objective by working with relevant vocational qualification standards, as well as through a national apprenticeship program modeled along the German vocational education and training system, which is highly recognized worldwide. We will expand export growth to traditional and non-traditional markets, utilizing the expertise of our leading export promotion agency. We will negotiate and expand trade agreements to improve market access, focusing on Central and Latin America, the wider Caribbean, the Asian economies, and Africa. We will also establish trade facilitation offices in selected overseas markets, including Jamaica, Guyana with responsibility for Suriname and Belize, England with responsibility for the European Union, United States, Ghana, and Beijing, China. We will continue to focus on the CARICOM single market and economy, which has been a fundamental pillar on which our national and regional sustainable development was built. To that end, through our diplomatic efforts, our Prime Minister, during his chairmanship of CARICOM between January and August 21, has been able to place the CSME on the front burner for action. We will amend the Immigration Caribbean Community Skills National Act to expand the categories eligible for free movement from 5 to 10, with 2 further categories awaiting the approval of the definitions at the CARICOM level. The new legislation will afford Trinidad and Tobago nationals the opportunity to seek employment and live in participating CARICOM member states and vice versa. This government has listened to the national and regional private sectors who support the free movement of skills, which will allow them to access the skilled and unskilled human resources needed to fill skills gaps, expand their operational capacity, and facilitate post-pandemic innovation and growth. The opportunity is not limited to nationals residing in Trinidad and Tobago, but is also available to members of our diaspora wishing to return to the region with skills and resources to contribute to its development. We will establish the Innovation Incubator Project, which entails collaboration between the University of the West Indies and business entities to provide a space where young entrepreneurs can get advice or locate their businesses and help one another develop. This project will provide an avenue for building and encouraging entrepreneurship among young people throughout the country in key sectors as agriculture. We'll provide $50 million in professional services and support to small and medium enterprises, specifically in the areas of accounting services, record keeping, training, management, inventory control, and health and safety, and to ensure that they meet their statutory obligations. This came out of our SME loan program, Madam Speaker, where we found that so many small businesses are woefully deficient in these areas. So we're going to help them. We're providing $50 million for that. This program will be managed by the Ministry of Finance. We are modernizing and repurposing e-tech as a facilitator of commercial development. We are targeting firms in specific areas of high value and light manufacturing in emerging industries and accommodating them in new modern industrial parks. For example, the Phoenix Park Industrial Estate is a modern economic zone situated at a unique location for domestic and international investors seeking to establish operations in Trinidad and Tobago, and being close to the second largest port in the country, the port of Point Lisas, a major containerized cargo port. Investors wishing to locate in this zone will have the advantage of easy access to regional and global consumer markets. The industrial estate will be completed in 2022 and is being constructed by Beijing Construction Engineering Group Company under the Belt and Road Initiative being pioneered by the People's Republic of China. This industrial estate aims to build an environmental protection, ecological, and fully functional industrial park with light industry and high additional value. It is intended to be a world-class facility that would meet our requirements for economic diversification. Chinese enterprises will now have a platform in this region to expand into the Latin American market. Tourism and cultural industries. Madam Speaker, tourism and culture contribute significantly to domestic economic activity, and we are taking the advantage of the opportunities for synergies among culture, arts, and tourism. We are building and expanding our cultural arts. We will monetize these assets through proper marketing and promotion. The tourism and cultural sectors have been hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic as borders to international and regional visitors were closed. Hotels and guest houses have seen occupancy rates plummet. The suspension of the cruise season has reduced visitor arrivals and visitor spending, but we are focusing on the reopening of the tourism sector, in particular business tourism, ecotourism, sports tourism, festivals, and event tourism. We're ensuring that these sectors will become economically viable and will contribute more significantly to the national economy, employment, and competitiveness. Our major tourist sites and attractions are being modernized and upgraded at globally accepted standards to attract both domestic and international tourism, including Las Cuevas Beach, Manzanilla Beach, Maracas Beach, La Brea Pitch Lake, Galera Point Lighthouse, and the Paramin Lookout. Cultural performance and heritage spaces are being updated. Queen's Hall, Naparima Bowl, National Academy for the Performing Arts, Southern Academy for the Performing Arts, National Museum and Art Gallery, the Museum of the City of Port of Spain, and Stallmeyer's Castle. We will also utilize any or all steel orchestras, such as Desperados, All Stars, Invaders, Renegades, Supernovas, Phase 2, Skiffle, and Cats in Jammers, among others, and brand them tourism ambassadors. This will showcase local talent and create employment opportunities among our young, talented people. The long-term competitiveness of our tourism and cultural sector has been assigned to Tourism Trinidad Limited and a similar company, Tobago Tourism Agency Limited in Tobago, leaving regulation and management to the Trinidad and Tobago Tourism Regulatory and Licensing Authority. This particular governance model has been particularly successful in Trinidad by improving the tourism product offerings and enhancing visitor experiences through a compelling internationally recognized destination brand. KLM Airlines is set to begin a new service before the end of this year. This airline collaboration with Air France and SkyTeam will increase our presence in Europe, ensuring our destination remains central to the plans of potential visitors. The expansion in our hotel room stock will ensure accommodation for an expanded visitor presence. The existing tourism incentives are being utilized to catalyze new plants and refurbishments and renovations of existing plants. Superior Hotels, Trinidad and Tobago Limited, is reconfiguring the 55 apartment-style guest room hotel at the former Carlton Savannah. The new hotel, the Bricks by Marriott, will offer 163 four-star global standard guest rooms upon its opening before the end of this year. Towers Hospitality Group Limited is constructing a new hotel in Tobago, the Comfort Inn and Suites. The hotel has been designed to international mid-scale levels, and it will offer 74 guest rooms upon its opening before the end of the year. Prestige Hotels Limited is proposing to develop a 152 guest room hotel under the Sheraton brand in the vicinity of the Piarco International Airport. The Financial Complex Suites Limited, with 79 guest rooms, is scheduled for opening in 2022. A Marriott-branded $500 million luxury hotel is to be constructed by Superior Hotels Limited at Rocky Point, Tobago. The hotel, which is a joint venture between Superior Hotels and ETEC, will be commissioned in 2025. That's a projected date. When completed, the project will comprise 200 rooms, 28 luxury duplex residences, 11 single-family villas, and 12 townhouses. 750 jobs will be created during the construction phase and 250 permanent jobs when completed. Madam Speaker, property owners have been upgrading their accommodation facilities to first-class levels through access to our incentive program, the upgrade of small approved tourism properties, with 1 to 5 guest rooms, and the Trinidad and Tobago hotel and guest room stock upgrade program, with properties having 6 to 150 guest rooms. The creative and cultural industries are playing key roles in enhancing visitor experience and domestic tourism. The Desperados Pan Theatre in Port of Spain will generate a unique visitor experience in steel band music. The Naparima Bowl will continue to foster a sense of national pride by bringing into focus the contribution of the arts to social development and cohesion. We are repairing and upgrading the facility at the Queen's Park Savannah to ensure that the National Carnival Commission is in a better position to host events comfortably and safely. Carnival 2022, if it moves forward, will present a formidable visitor experience, thereby enhancing the festival as a staple event in our annual cultural calendar. Madam Speaker, the government will continue to provide grants and subventions to individuals, groups, and community-based, faith-based, cultural, and other non-governmental organizations. Funding will be in the support of projects which contribute to building the community, cultural, religious, and creative sectors of Trinidad and Tobago. I move now to social development and in particular health. The COVID-19 pandemic has exposed cracks in our health system. It has also demonstrated how much an efficient health sector means for our economies. We were hit hard by the dual health and economic shocks, and both have had a chronic impact on our economic activity with substantial lost productivity. Madam Speaker, prevention is better than cure. We have been investing in better health outcomes as a key for building resilience and creating healthier, working-age people through our healthcare delivery system. Maternal and child health have been improving. We are now at less than 30 maternal deaths per 100,000 live births, down from 55 per 100,000 live births in 2015. This is equivalent to 7 additional women's lives saved every year since 2016. Neonatal mortality is now on decline. We are now at under 7 deaths per 1,000 live births